Hello, EDU 6510. Here we are, lesson 4. This happens to be one of my very favorite topics that we study this semester, the economics of education, and really thinking about how schools are funded and whether or not that funding sort of formula, if you will, relates to in any way to ideas around equity and equality. So I'm just going to do a very brief sort of overview, if you will, regarding the lesson. Talk a little bit about there's sort of an assignment, if you will, here that I want to point out a couple of things. But for the most part, the lesson is really constructed around Darling Hammond's ideas around school funding. So again, you'll be doing some additional readings in addition to Darling Hammond's text. There's a couple articles included here on school finance and school funding. I want to point out that this video that Darling Hammond provides for us in this lesson is a bit longer than what I would normally incorporate into a lesson. It is about 40, not quite 50-minute long. So I don't like to do videos quite that long, but the content of the video is very worthwhile. It's very applicable, and it really covers much of what the lesson covers. So it is worth your time. There's also a short link here on sort of poverty and some of the ideas when we think about school equity. A lot of times, historically, school equity was really thought about in a race-based sort of model, if you will. But we know now so much more about economics, not just how schools are funded, how teachers are paid, the economics of education as a system, but the economics of our student body and how economics really impacts learning. So this read, I hope you'll find interesting. Again, there will be there's a posted discussion for you and for this lesson, really thinking about how the school funding cycle impacts you on a daily basis in your practice. And in this lesson, your assignment for your current issues, future trends, bigger assignment, the summation is what I'm referring to it as, is due here. So basically what you're going to see is a little bit of just a short outline I want you to follow. Some of you have already emailed me indicating you're going to be working with a partner, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for the communication. And then there's going to be an assignment Dropbox right here for you to submit the 4 things listed above. Basically, the title, the position or the perspective you're taking on it. So if maybe you're going to talk about the digital divide, for example, in elementary schools, and your position is that the digital divide doesn't exist, but rather it's more of an issue of how we use technology. So I'm making that up. That's just a short example. So you want to make sure that you position yourself somewhere in the topic that you've selected. Identify 5 sources you anticipate using, just listing them. So you basically just your title, the position you're taking, list 5 sources, and then of course your name. And if you're going to be working with a partner, include that. And I do ask for you to include your citations in APA format. So don't just list, 5 books you want to use or link websites. Make sure that you're listing those 5 sources in APA format. And then in the assignment summation Dropbox, please drop it in the Dropbox. We'll be having an upcoming Zoom session as well. I'll be scheduling, so be looking for that, and we'll be talking about kind of the summation as well. This is part of the overall bigger assignment, so this step is not sort of quote unquote graded, but it needs to be completed as it's part of the overall bigger assignment. It has proven me successful, so I can get a look at people's topics, because sometimes our ideas are far too big to be focusing in on a very brief presentation, which is what you'll be doing in VoiceThread. So I want to make sure your topic is something, obviously you're interested about, but also that's manageable for you to be presenting on. So quick overview of lesson 4. There you have it. Hopefully all things are well. And I look forward to seeing what what you're going to be doing your larger assignment on, and look forward to your work on the current issue future trend VoiceThread, which will be due. I just want to say the assignment is due in lesson 5. This is just your summation that's due. So I want to don't stress. It's not due earlier than noted in the calendar. So all right, have a great day. Thanks.